Extinction Protocol. The Voraxian Empire had conquered 17 star systems before they encountered Earth. Their warships, massive crystalline structures that bent light around their hulls, appeared without warning in Earth's orbit on a mild Tuesday in April. Humanity had only established its first Mars colony 3 decades prior and had barely extended unmanned probes to the outer reaches of the solar system. Earth's Unified Defense Forces detected the alien fleet 12 hours before visual confirmation. By then, it was too late for evacuation protocols, all we could do was wait. Primitive species of Sol 3, came the transmission in perfect English, evidence they'd been monitoring our communications for some time. I am Supreme Commander Thaxver of the Voraxian Empire. Your world has been selected for integration. Resistance is inadvisable. The United Earth Council, formed after the Resource Wars 50 years earlier, convened an emergency session. General Chen, head of Earth's defense forces, stood before the assembled representatives with the grim expression that had earned her the nickname, Steelface, during the African campaign. We cannot match their technology, she stated flatly. Our most advanced weaponry would be like throwing stones at a tsunami. The chamber fell silent until President Okafor spoke. Then we send them a warning instead. Within the hour, Earth broadcast its response across all frequencies, directed at the Voraxian fleet. The message was simple, delivered by Okafor himself. Voraxian Empire, we recognize your technological superiority, however, we strongly advise against hostile action. Earth is not what it appears, we are not defenseless. Turn back now. Laughter, actual laughter, echoed through their comm systems. Thaxver's voice resonated with cruel amusement. Your species has barely crawled from its gravity well. Our scans show your weapons are primitive fusion devices and chemical propellants. Your largest vessel would fit in our waste disposal units. Your warning is noted and dismissed. 6 hours later, the first strike hit. They targeted Earth's largest military installation in North America with a precision energy beam. The blast vaporized the Rocky Mountain complex and carved a 30-meter-wide crater. 2 million people died instantly. The world watched in horror as footage spread across the global network. The Voraxians had made their point, they expected immediate surrender. They didn't get it. What the Voraxians couldn't know, what no alien species could understand, was that humans had spent their entire evolutionary history preparing for this moment. Every war, every disaster, every near-extinction event had shaped humanity into something uniquely dangerous. When the Voraxians struck, they expected panic. Instead, within 20 minutes of the attack, Earth's defense grid activated, not the conventional weapons the aliens had detected, but something else entirely. General Chen stood in the underground command center beneath Antarctica as she gave the order. Initiate Prometheus Protocol. Across the planet, hidden silos opened, not missile silos, those were decoys, but devices disguised as cell towers, weather stations, and offshore drilling platforms. Each contained a weapon that hadn't appeared on any official document in 15 years. Thousands of nanoscale devices, each no larger than a dust particle, launched into the atmosphere. Propelled by electromagnetic fields rather than rockets, they rose undetected. The Voraxians sensed nothing until it was too late. Each nanodevice housed a quantum entanglement core, a technology humans had developed not for war but for faster-than-light communication. When the devices adhered to Voraxian hulls and activated, data began streaming back to Earth's quantum computing network. Status report, Chen demanded as screens flickered with incoming feeds. Infiltration at 87%, replied Dr. Aisha Nakamura, the physicist who designed Prometheus Protocol. These devices are transmitting what made humans different from the 17 species you conquered. It's not superior tech or brute strength, it's adaptability. The ability to turn disadvantages into weapons. Within minutes, Earth's AI defenses had complete schematics of Voraxian ships, layouts, and communication protocols. Back on the Voraxian command ship, Thaxver's smug confidence faltered. Impossible, he hissed. These primitives cannot penetrate our security. But humans never built conventional cybersecurity the way the Voraxians did. Our digital defenses evolved through constant internal attacks, hackers, rogue states, corporate espionage, resulting in a chaotic, adaptive approach utterly foreign to the structured empire. By the time Thaxver realized what was happening, Earth had seized control of 30% of his fleet's subsystems. "Proceed to Phase 2, Nakamura reported. General Chen nodded. "Execute. Phase 2, Gravity Manipulation." Humans had discovered gravitational engineering while researching faster-than-light travel. Though FTL remained elusive, we built devices that could intensify or nullify gravity in localized areas. Suddenly, artificial gravity systems reversed. Voraxian crews were thrown against ceilings, life support settings turned toxic, navigation systems detected phantom wells. 1/3 of the fleet drifted off course, crews incapacitated or dead. "Adaptive software isolating our intrusion," warned Colonel Jackson. "Initiate Phase 3, Chen ordered." Phase 3 targeted the enemy psyche, nanodevices sent false orders, fabricated distress calls. In the ensuing chaos, Voraxian ships opened fire on each other. From his bridge, Thaxver watched his perfect armada descend into anarchy. "These are primitives," he roared. But he'd underestimated humanity's paranoia, fueled by a secret Zeta Reticuli encounter 60 years earlier. Earth had prepared in silence, the unified government formed not for resource wars, but because only a planet united could survive. Within 24 hours of the initial strike, nearly half the Voraxian fleet was disabled or destroyed by its own weapons. "Retreat," Thaxver ordered, but it was too late. Earth then launched conventional missiles, detonating an electromagnetic pulse specifically calibrated to shatter crystalline technology. Human systems, hardened decades ago, were unaffected. Through failing channels came President Okafor's final message: "We warned you. Earth is not what it appears." In the aftermath, General Chen watched crystalline wreckage drift against the blue planet. "They never understood," she whispered to Nakamura, "that we fight ourselves the way we fight enemies. They never had to become monsters." In his cell, Supreme Commander Thaxver stared at walls dimmed by shock. Humans had captured him alive. But he realized the true message: Earth wasn't a backwater to be conquered. It was a crucible of survivors, a species that turned its history of violence into a weapon. 3 weeks later, the wreckage remained in orbit as a monument. Engineers swarmed the ships, extracting technologies to propel humanity centuries ahead. Yet victory carried a cost. Major Diana Rodriguez stood in the lunar hospital wing, gazing at her brother Luis's burned form. He'd survived the second strike at the Brazil Command Center, one of only a handful of 8,000. "The grafts are taking," the doctor said. "With Voraxian regenerative techniques, he'll recover. But it will take time." Rodriguez nodded, torn between pride in our triumph and rage at what the aliens had done, a hallmark of humanity's capacity to hold opposing emotions. Beneath Geneva, Dr. Ezra Cohen interrogated Thaxver methodically, extracting intel on the Empire's hierarchy, tech, and likely response. "Your home world will send another fleet," Cohen observed. "8 of your months at maximum speed," Thaxver admitted. "We're counting on it," Cohen replied. Unbeknownst to him, Earth had already dispatched 12 stealth vessels hidden in the asteroid belt. Each carried upgraded nanodevices destined for key Voraxian worlds, seeding them with human technology ahead of reinforcements. Secret space platforms went public, Mars and orbital shipyards raced to build a true defense fleet. Society itself shifted, the Zeta Reticuli truth revealed, a wave of grim determination swept the population. Humanity prepared for the next threat. 5 months after the Seoul defensive, long-range sensors detected a vast armada, 3 times larger than the first, accelerating toward Earth. Grand Admiral Zexer, brother to the captive commander, believed he'd learned humanity's tricks: hardened ships, isolated systems, weapons calibrated to hit hidden platforms. He would not be fooled again. As the fleet entered the outer solar system, Earth stayed silent. No shields, no transmissions. The Varaxians thought we had fled. Maintain formation, Zexer ordered. But beneath Antarctica, General Chen gave the awaited command, initiate Operation Hydra. Nanodevices hidden on the Varaxian home world activated aboard every ship, interfacing with neural implants to induce realistic hallucinations, enemies, system failures, phantom orders. Within minutes, chaos reigned. Then Earth's quantum phase shield dropped. Thousands of hybrid attack craft, melding human and Varaxian tech, erupted from hidden lunar bases. Colonel Rodriguez led the first wave, transmitting, "We want prisoners when possible. This isn't just about winning, it's about sending a message." Within 6 hours, the fragmented Varaxian fleet succumbed. Some captains surrendered intact, Grand Admiral Zexer did not. He self-destructed his flagship rather than endure capture. Earth had seized nearly 30% of the enemy fleet, a trove of technology and, more importantly, a shattered myth of invincibility. 2 weeks later, the Varaxian High Council sent a ceasefire proposal. President Okafor, in the same chamber that first warned them, listened as council member Ilolavor offered diplomacy with deference. Okafor and Chen exchanged a glance. The nanodevices on Varaxian worlds wielded unprecedented leverage. At any moment, humanity could trigger their society's collapse. "We accept," Okafor replied, "on terms, recognition of Earth's sovereignty, reparations, technology exchange, and ascension to the Galactic Council." Ilolavor, after a pause, agreed. Earth's swift pivot from threatened backwater to galactic power transformed human history. Ships featuring hybrid designs began exploring beyond the solar system. Societal unity fueled unprecedented advancement. Yet the militarization that saved us raised uneasy questions: had we become the monsters we feared? 5 years on, Admiral Rodriguez stood aboard Earth's first diplomatic vessel, approaching Galactic Council headquarters. By her side was Thaxfer, the once proud conqueror turned advisor. "Your species continues to surprise me," he said, watching the station grow. "Most worlds would seek revenge. We chose a role instead," Rodriguez replied. "That's because you still don't understand us, Thaxfer. Humans don't think in absolutes. We can hate what you did while valuing cooperation. It's not forgiveness, it's pragmatism." Thaxfer's head frills rippled in thoughtful gesture. "They call Earth the sleeping predator you awakened. Fear will keep them diplomatic while we settle in," Rodriguez said, "but they'll learn what you're learning. Humanity's greatest strength isn't violence, it's the capacity for change." As their ship docked, Rodriguez reflected on humanity's remarkable journey, from a single-planet species on the brink of annihilation to an emerging interstellar power, proving that the fiercest weapon of all is the indomitable human spirit. General Rodriguez and Thaxfer stepped from the airlock into the vast council chamber, its domed ceiling studded with lights that simulated distant stars. Representatives of 80 other species gathered around the circular dais, their forms and gestures as varied as the galaxies they called home. A hush settled over the assembly as the human flag, its blue and green swirl encircling a stylized Earth, was raised beside the Galactic Council standard. President Okafor began the session. "Honored members of the Galactic Council," he said, his voice resonant through the chamber's acoustic amplifiers, "we come not as conquerors, but as partners. Earth's victory over the Varaxian Empire was born of necessity, yet we seek a future defined by cooperation." Murmurs rippled through the delegates, surprise, skepticism, even admiration. The eldest among them, an ethereal being called Mala of the Nine Tari, leaned forward. Her many-faceted eyes glowed softly as she addressed Okafor. "You wield power few single worlds ever achieve," she intoned. "The Council must decide whether to welcome or to fear this new force." Thaxfer rose then, his crystalline frills catching the light. "I served the Empire that underestimated you," he said. "I have seen humanity's capacity for tactics, yes, but also for mercy. They spared those Varaxians who surrendered, they offered reparations rather than revenge. That balance of strength and compassion is rare in the cosmos." General Rodriguez stepped beside him. "We propose 2 initiatives," she announced. First, the shared development of a defensive alliance. Should any empire threaten another member, the Council will act together. Second, an interstellar research consortium, open to all species, to peacefully advance technology for medical, environmental, and cultural exchange. A ripple of applause followed, led by smaller and formerly marginalized species whose worlds bore scars from past conquests. But not all were convinced. Grand Master Soluar of the Korvax League spoke bluntly, "We welcome your proposals, but trust must be earned. Your sudden rise alarms those worlds that remember Voraxian tyranny. How do we know your hidden arsenals will remain dormant?" Dr. Nakamura, representing Earth's scientific body, answered. Transparency. We will grant Council inspectors full access to our military installations, above ground and sub, every gravity engineering lab, every nano device facility. Let the record show we have nothing to hide. Over the following Council days, delegations toured Earth's orbital and lunar installations. Ambassadors observed gravity trials on the Moon's surface, examined nano device labs beneath Antarctica, and witnessed field exercises where human Marines trained side by side with Korvax peacekeepers. Each demonstration eroded suspicions and built new ties. As the final vote approached, President Okafor addressed the Council once more, "We have faced extinction. Together, we survived. Now we stand on the threshold of a greater civilization, one defined not by conquest, but by collective progress. Let us choose alliance over isolation." When the ballots were tallied, both initiatives passed by a narrow yet decisive margin. Cheers erupted among human delegates, and many older empires, chastened by Voraxian defeats, extended their hands in genuine camaraderie. That evening, General Chen, now Earth's ambassador to the Council, walked the station's promenade with Thaxfer at her side. Illuminated gardens floated in zero gravity beside them, and holographic artworks depicted the histories of every member world. "Do you regret advising them?" Chen asked quietly. Thaxfer paused to study a sculpture of entwined vines, a nine-tari masterpiece symbolizing unity through diversity. "I do not regret it," he replied. "I hope to save my people from shame. Instead, I helped usher in a new era. Humans taught me that true strength lies not in domination, but in adaptation and in forging unexpected bonds." Chen nodded, looking out at the stars drifting past the viewport. "We have much work ahead, rebuilding systems, forging new alliances, guarding against future threats. Yet for the first time, I feel the galaxy is not a battlefield, but a community." As the Council's lights dimmed for the night cycle, Earth's flag still flew proudly beside the ancient standards of countless worlds. Beyond the station, the Voraxian home fleet lay disabled but intact, a testament to the galaxy's turning tide. And somewhere in the silent depths of space, new adventures and challenges awaited the human race, united at last and eager to explore the vast, star-strewn frontier. A week later, the UE's Resilience prepared to depart the Galactic Council station on humanity's first official multilateral expedition. A crew of 200, including humans, nine-tari engineers, Korvax biologists, and a contingent of Voraxian specialists, boarded the ship under the watchful eyes of their respective ambassadors. The mission's objective was simple in words, profound in implication: chart a newly discovered star system on the fringes of Voraxian space, study its planets for potential habitation, and establish a model research outpost governed by the Council's principles of shared knowledge. Colonel Diana Rodriguez, now promoted to Vice Admiral and Mission Commander, addressed her crew on the observation deck before departure. "We stand at the threshold of something extraordinary," she began, her voice steady despite the undercurrent of excitement. "Our success here will demonstrate that cooperation among former adversaries can yield discoveries no single species could achieve alone. Remember, we lead not with weapons drawn, but with open hands and curious minds." Beside her, Supreme Commander Thaxfer, granted the rank of Honorary Liaison, unstrapped and stepped forward, his multifaceted eyes reflecting the soft glow of Earthlight. "I once believed conquest was the only path to security," he confessed. "Now, I know that security lies in understanding and unity. I pledge my people's expertise to this mission, and I ask each of you to view us as partners, not remnants of a past conflict. As the docking clamps released, a low hum built through the ship's frame. In the bridge's navigation suite, Lieutenant Aisha Patel, the human pilot, engaged the quantum drive prelude. Outside the viewport, the Council station receded, replaced by the tapestry of interstellar space. Sensors already detected the gravitational signatures of the target system, faint ripples in the void that promised worlds unseen. The first challenge arrived less than 12 hours into the voyage. Communications Officer Korvac's Cadet Soul's console beeped with an anomaly, unencrypted traffic on a secure channel. Decoding the source revealed a fragmented distress call in the ancient Voraxian tongue, one not spoken since before the Empire's first conquests. The message originated from an uncharted moon orbiting the system's second planet. Vice Admiral Rodriguez convened an emergency meeting in the ship's strategy room. "We have a choice," she said, pointing at the holographic map. "Ignore the signal and continue our survey, or investigate and risk diverting precious time and resources. What do you advise?" Dr. Aisha Nakamura, representing Earth's Scientific Academy, exchanged a glance with Nine-Tari Ambassador Mala. The signal's language and encryption dated to a period before the Voraxians mastered interstellar travel, Nakamura noted. This might be an archaeological find of immense value, perhaps the remnants of a civilization the Voraxians once absorbed. General Chen, now ambassador at large, nodded. "This aligns with our council mandate, protect and preserve galactic history. I recommend we investigate, but proceed with caution. We don't know if the moon's inhabitants, or their descendants, are still alive." With consensus reached, the Resilience altered course. 2 hours later, the ship dropped out of phase drive above a rust-colored moon pocked with ancient structures, towers, walls, and terraces carved from basaltic rock. Beneath layers of regolith, automated probes discovered faint life signs, microbial colonies still thriving in geothermal vents. The crew's excitement was tempered by the realization of their responsibility. Teams of xenobiologists, architects, and historians disembarked in armored excursion shuttles, prepared to document and protect the site. Colonel Rodriguez led the landing party, her pulse racing as she took the first steps on ground untouched by living beings for millennia. In the shadow of a collapsed temple wall, Mala translated a newly unearthed inscription. "We journeyed beyond the horizon, guided by stars. Should our people falter, may future travelers remember our name." The words, etched in a dialect of the forerunner species the Voraxians had once assimilated, resonated through the assembled delegates, a testament to the cycle of empires rising and falling. As the sun dipped below the lunar horizon, turning the sky a deep, bruised purple, Rodriguez reflected on how far humanity had come, from fighting for survival on their home world to leading a coalition across the stars. Thaxper, standing beside her, placed a crystalline hand on her shoulder. "This is only the beginning," he said. "Together, we will uncover the galaxy's secrets, and ensure that no civilization story ends in silence." And so, under alien constellations and the watchful eyes of old rivals turned allies, humanity's diplomatic flagship embarked on its greatest mission yet, to learn, to protect, and to write a new chapter in the ever-expanding tapestry of the cosmos. In the days that followed, the Resilience's laboratories buzzed with activity. Samples of regolith and microbial cultures were carefully catalogued by human and Nine-Tari biologists, while Voraxian engineers began sketching preliminary blueprints for stabilizing the ruined structures. Amid this flurry of scientific enterprise, Lieutenant Patel discovered something unexpected in the system's outer asteroid belt, an anomalous energy signature, faint but unmistakably artificial. Vice Admiral Rodriguez convened a new strategy session. "If that signature is what I suspect," she said, "we may be on the trail of a derelict vessel, possibly from the same civilization whose ruins we're studying." Dr. Nakamura overlaid gravimetric scans onto the holomap. These readings matched the propulsion residue of a protophase drive, technology thought lost to pre-Empire worlds. Any intact components could revolutionize our understanding of faster-than-light mechanics. Permission was granted for a small team, Patel, a 9-Tari astrogator named Varesh, and 2 human salvage specialists, to investigate. As the shuttle hurtled toward the belt, tension rippled through its occupants. The chance to uncover a prototype ship from a vanished culture was exhilarating, yet the risks of hidden traps or structural collapse loomed large. They located the hulking relic wedged between 2 ice-coated planetoids. Its hull bore intricate bas-reliefs similar to those on the lunar temple, and faint pulses of residual power still glowed along fractured conduits. Using precision grav filters, the salvage crew stabilized the vessel's orientation before the team boarded. Inside, corridors stretched into darkness, their walls lined with alien glyphs that pulsed softly under the explorers' lights. Varesh traced a hand along one panel. "This script matches the temple inscription," she murmured. "It's the language of remembrance, an enduring creed of that civilization." In the heart of the derelict ship, they found the protophase core, a crystalline lattice suspended within a magnetic frame. Dr. Nakamura's voice crackled over comms. "I'm reading low-level quantum flux. If we can extract a fragment without destabilizing the lattice, we might reverse-engineer the entire drive." As they prepared the extraction, a sudden tremor shook the vessel. Dust cascaded from overhead pipes, and warning lights flickered. "Gravity fields are fluctuating," Patel reported, fingers dancing over her console. "We may be triggering a failsafe." The shuttle's hatch began to seal automatically. Alarms rang out. With seconds to spare, Varesh jammed a grav anchor into the deck, holding the hatch open while the salvage specialist severed the core's containment cables. Patel winced as the lattice hummed louder, then stabilized in her hands. "Core secured," she announced, breathless. "We're ejecting now." The shuttle blasted free just as the derelict's failsafe initiated a localized gravity inversion, collapsing the central chamber instantly. Through the viewport, the team watched as the ancient vessel crumpled in on itself, abandoned secrets consumed by time. Back aboard the Resilience, the extracted core was placed in a shielded containment bay. Dar. Nakamura already sketched modifications, a hybrid prototype that could one day power Council-mandated research ships without reliance on Varaxian designs. The success cemented humanity's reputation as innovators, not merely warriors. That evening, over a communal dinner in the ship's mess hall, Rodriguez raised her glass. Around her were faces of 4 species, united by curiosity and cooperation. To discovery, she toasted, and to the spirit of unity that makes it possible. Subdued applause followed, but the atmosphere crackled with pride and quiet excitement. Beyond them, the silent expanse of space held countless more mysteries, and together, they would face them as allies. Months later, the UE's Resilience returned to the Galactic Council station, its holds full of archaeological artifacts, scientific data, and the prototype phase core fragment. Ambassadors and scientists gathered on the observation deck as Vice Admiral Diana Rodriguez presented the mission's final report. "We have not only honored the heritage of a lost civilization," she announced, "but also forged bonds between 4 species whose collaboration will define our shared future." She gestured to the crystalline fragment shimmering in its containment field. "This fragment will be studied by united teams and laboratories across our worlds, and, one day, will enable peaceful faster-than-light travel for all Council members." Supreme Commander Thaxmer, now advisor for Varaxian heritage, stepped forward. "I once believed that might made right," he said softly. "But I have learned that cooperation writes a history far more enduring than conquest. The ruins of the temple, the derelict vessel, even this core, they speak of a people who looked beyond themselves. Let us honor them by doing the same." Maluar of the 9-Tari produced a delicate crystal phial containing geothermal microbes brought from that rust-red moon. "Life finds a way," she smiled. "And where it finds a way, knowledge must follow." Korvac's biologist Sol added alien spores destined for study in the Council's biodiversity archive, while human engineer Aisha Nakamura outlined plans for the first hybrid research vessel. That evening, a gala was held in the station's grand hall. Species from every world mingled beneath floating lanterns that projected holograms of the ancient temple walls and the derelict ship's bas-reliefs. Ambassadors shared dances and stories, laughter resounded where once suspicion had reigned. As the festivities waned, President Okafor and General Chen stood together by a viewport looking out at Earth's blue glow. "We began this journey as strangers afraid for our survival," Okafor murmured. "Now we stand as allies, ready to face both the wonders and the perils of the universe." Chen nodded. "The sole defensive was our crucible, what we learned there became our greatest weapon, unity. This mission proved that our strength lies not in what we destroy, but in what we preserve and share." Far below, Earth rotated serenely, its hidden defenses now a symbol of readiness rather than secrecy. Beyond it, the derelict cores of Varaxian wrecks drifted in orbit, a testament to hubris overcome by adaptability. And so, with the Council's blessing, humanity and its new allies prepared to chart the next frontier. The final words of that long-lost inscription, "May future travelers remember our name," were engraved on a memorial plaque aboard the Resilience, not as an epitaph, but as an enduring promise. That no civilization, however advanced, would ever be lost to time, so long as curious minds and open hearts journeyed together among the stars.